Welcome back, folks. We're going to start looking at the next device, and really the device that we're most interested in this semester. I think most of you have run into it in previous classes, but I want to kind of start from the ground level a little bit. We'll move quickly through it, as quickly as I think we can, so that we build up how to actually do analysis with this device. Of course, I'm talking about the transistor, and I'm specifically talking about the bipolar junction transistor, or BJT. All right. Now, pretty frequently I'll talk to seniors and I'll say, okay, so what is a transistor? And the answers I get back are usually a little concerning. What I want you to walk away with is that a transistor is really just a switch. Okay, it can be on, it can be off, or it can be somewhere in the middle. So let's get that down on paper here. I started off before I started the video. It can be on, it can be off, and because it's a transistor, we can talk about it as being somewhere in the middle. So when it's on, as much current as is available can flow. So we think of that as having a resistance of 0 ohms, and we call that a short. When it's off, it has a resistance of infinite ohms, like a switch that's been turned off, and we call that an open circuit. Okay, now with the transistor, it can be somewhere in the middle, and so it's not quite 0 ohms and it's not quite infinite ohms. It's got some finite valued resistance, and once we can start analyzing circuits with transistors, we'll be able to go find that resistance should we want to. Okay, the other description of transistors, it's a little more complicated, but the other description that I've run into is it's really a potentiometer that's controlled by an electrical signal. So I'm hoping you've run into potentiometers in your previous classes. It's really a resistor that you can adjust by turning a knob, and that knob moves the resistance from 0 up to some maximum value. It's not quite infinite, but it's some finite value that's large, and you can move that knob to be stuck on 0, stuck on whatever that big finite value is, or it can be anywhere in between. Okay, so we can think of the transistor as being this adjustable resistance, but instead of being adjusted by the mechanical knob, we're adjusting it with some other signal in the circuit, and that's what really allows us to create amplifiers. Okay, we control that resistance by wiggling a low power signal, and on the output we get a higher power output. Okay, so there's some similarities. I wanted to start with diodes this semester because I wanted to kind of build on the similarities between diodes and transistors, so that we'd be comfortable as we began to work with this much more complicated device. Okay, so you know they're built out of PN junctions, just like the diode was, and it becomes this 3-terminal device. Okay, let's pick a nice bright color here. It becomes this 3-terminal device. You can draw it vertical, horizontal, doesn't matter. But where the diode was just a single PN junction, okay, the BJT transistor, the bipolar junction transistor, so there's 2 junctions, is built out of 3 different doped regions. Okay, so we have an N dope, a P dope, and an N dope. This is called an NPN BJT. Okay, typically used to amplify positive signals. All right, and there's some differences. This is a really simplistic model, but it's the one that gets used, right? And we call this the base. This one could be the collector, and this one can be the emitter. Okay, so we get the base, the collector, and this one's called the emitter. Okay, so where the diode only had an anode and a cathode, now we have a base, an emitter, and a collector. Okay, the schematic symbol is going to kind of reflect this. It looks like this. Okay, for the NPN, that arrow is going out. We'll connect it up to the circuit to look like that. So we have the collector up here, the emitter down here, and the base here. So these are pretty common abbreviations, base emitter collector. Okay, it's the 3-terminal device. With the diode, I'm hoping what you walked away with is that we can still do analysis in the ways that we've been doing them. We can talk about the volt amp characteristics. What's the voltage across the diode, and what's the corresponding current through the diode? And we're kind of doing the same thing here. We want to know what controls the current through this BJT. What I'm primarily interested in is the current through that collector. Okay, so I'm going to call that I sub C. Okay, what controls I sub C? And in this case, there are 2 variables that are going to control I sub C. Okay, we need to know the voltage across the collector emitter, and we need to know the current through the base. Okay, we'll call that IB. And we got to relate all those things. Just like we did with the diode, we want to relate the quantity of IB and the quantity of VCE to how much current is flowing through the collector. Okay, so broad strokes, this is what we're headed towards. We end up with these 2 junctions. Okay, we call one of them the base emitter junction, so we might call it base emitter junction. Okay, and we have the base collector junction as well. KVL still works, KCL still works. We got to develop Ohm's law for this mess. All right, and it's gonna get a little sloppy, and it's gonna take a little bit of visualization, but I believe in you. I think you can do it. Okay, so we're talking about the BJT. We've got these 3 terminals. We've got 2 junctions that we're going to talk about, the base emitter and the base collector junction. And we're going to figure out how to take this device and treat it like a switch and treat it as a resistance somewhere in between being on and off. And in this way, we're going to build logic circuits and we're going to build amplifiers. All right, stay tuned and good luck.